point for me wasn't so much a character. Maybe Adam in The Exiles. It's Adam and Eve, and I danced that with Nina Watt, but it was mostly dancing with her. She was so experienced, and I was so young, and she knew so much that she really opened my mind. She opened my eyes to how to work, what it takes. But then, within the company, when these were like projects outside the company with her, I think when I finally got to dance, at first I danced Iago in the Mos Pavan. When I had learned them all, but because all the Iago left, so they asked me, okay, now we need a Iago, and you could do it. So when I finally got to do that, I felt it was a turning point, and people, for my career. And it took a lot also to go into this role, because it wasn't as obvious as the More for me, because the More is very direct, and Iago, you have to have different qualities. So to search for that, it was a big work, a big challenge. And then things kept coming for me after that. I did that for 4 years, and then I went into the More. And so I've done both, and it's really a big thing. It's really a big event. You 20 minutes on stage, you never leave the stage, and you have to, with these roles, also in The Exiles and the Mos Pavan, you the More, or you Iago, or you Adam. The work of Rosé Limón is a journey, because you're not doing parts, you're doing roles. And the role is different than the part. Often, like nowadays, people dance parts. There are no more roles. So they dance themselves. But when you're the More, in the Mos Pavan, it's not that I'm not Raphael, but I have to go further in corner of me. I have to bring things of Raphael forward that I wouldn't otherwise. Yeah, you have to become jealous. You have to love like with such passion, and then jealousy grows, and anger and rage. All these things that maybe me, Raphael, don't want to bring forward in life. You have to go and bring them forward. So it helps you discover who you are in a way, and what's hidden in those roles. It can change your life a little bit. You learn about yourself, and it's not like the dance is gonna not evolve. You end at a different point. You can be empty after all. It depends what you're doing. That's what we could do it in a way. It might be therapeutic for the world. Art is therapeutic for the world, because for some reason what we live, the human mind is such that we love to find symbols that represent what we live or what we're going through. Somehow it helps us. Poetry and painting and all that. We love that, and we need it somehow. I don't know why, but the mind is like that. Yeah. When we dance, and especially when we're young, like we tend to think that dance is for young people. But for me, as a young person, I couldn't wait to be older, to be able to express more things of the human condition. Rosé Limón, when he was making his dances, when he did the Mos Pavan, he was 41 years old. I'm 40, and I've danced the Mos Pavan for 12 years. I'm not even the age, I don't even have that whole experience yet that he had when he danced. He started with it in a way as a performer. Yeah, of course he choreographed it, but also as a performer. And so those dances, they're for men and women. They're not for boys and girls. And there's a lot that needs, for me, in the art that is more than acrobatics or the physicality. And sometimes when we dance, we tend to think that it's only movement, or it's movement that's the more important. But dance is mostly ideas that manifest themselves into movement. So ideas are of the artist. Movement is something else. It's just the result of the idea. So like, I find that we become an artist. We're not artists, okay? At first I was a dancer, I trained my body, there are things I wanted to do, but we become the artist only with the point of view. So when we find things, at first we broaden, but we find something we love, we go in and in, we don't broaden to become artists, we deepen. And we deepen, like Picasso deepened in Cubism, and more, and finally he was able to make Guernica, yes? So he became more of the artist, going in deeper in his idea. Monet, the same thing. So in dance, it's the same thing. You find something, and are you dwelling into those ideas and finding the truth of those ideas as interpreter, as a mover, interpreting, or as a choreographer, or other things. So you become the artist. You start as a dancer, you become the artist. Some people stop dancing before they become the artist, because they think, oh, I'm hurting, or I don't look good anymore. No, you look better, and you're more vulnerable, and you can show more of the intent. What is similar is that in New York it's very hard to make it in the dance world, and I think here in Mexico City it's the same. Like for the artists, you have to survive, you have to fight to survive, and it's very similar. And I think in France, for example, yes, you have to fight, but there's more safety net, and so people don't have. It's not the same fight. And this is what's similar in Mexico and New York, I think. So the need, this difficulty that are created because of the society or the town, it encourages creativity. People want to do more, but it's not necessary. But I think people have more motivation in a way to create, to speak about what they're thinking. And here in Mexico, especially in Mexico, I think people need to express themselves, I was doing things like my father when I was 6 years old. A 6-year-old boy wants to be like his father. Yeah, you admire your father. But things happened in my family, and then there were difficult things with my father, and he finally left the house. And the time when he left the house, for sure, I was 8. And then I felt that I needed to affirm myself in a different way. So I didn't want to do judo anymore like my father. I wanted to do something different. And I saw dance on TV. I think it was Béjar, a lot of men dancing, strong men. And so it was different. And I turned to my mom and I said, tomorrow I'm going to dance. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to go to dance. And she said, okay. And that was it. That's how it started. But then, starting is one thing. Affirming myself as a different man, than that was presented to me before. But why do you keep dancing? And after the first class, I was 8 years old. I realized the first movement at the bar, it was ballet, The first movement is called demi-plié. So it's a movement, we leave the heels on the ground, but we bend the legs. And then this grand plié, we can go further and the heels come off the floor. And I realized then that I had never made the choice to bend my legs either with my heels on the ground or not. I was just bending. But once you become conscious of choices, then it becomes interesting. It's power. All of a sudden you have two choices, leaving your heels on the ground or not. So two choices, you're more free. If you have one choice, or you're not aware of your choices, you're not free. So once you have two choices, 3, 4, 5, you become conscious, you become free. And I think that's why I right away caught my attention. Yeah. With freedom, but in the way of consciousness, becoming conscious, unveiling. So it's spiritual. So So one veil and another veil, you become more aware of your world, of your power of expression. This is what it's about, you know, working, transforming. Yeah. Well, the people that have really influenced me are dead. And the biggest influence I would say is Limón. And his work, and Doris Humphrey, and the ideas that are based on Nietzsche, the birth of tragedy. So we live the human condition. We live becoming conscious that we are all living between the Dionysian and the Apollonian, wanting to go into the abandonment, abandoning ourselves to the fall, and stabilizing, and we live in that arc. So this is a big influence. But also, along the way, I met people that made me realize that was available. This, and those people are, in a way, my foster parents, yeah, in art. And it was Gary Masters that shared his love for Limón, like very freely, very generously. He brought me to the US. We met in France, and then he brought me to the US for a workshop, and then invited me to join Limón West. He was one of the biggest influences. He really showed me how I could love this work. Working with the fall and recovery, those ideas, but also the work of Limón. And then, of course, Nina Watt. When I met Nina Watt, the first time I met her, she was like principal dancers for many years, 30 years in the Limón company. She knew Limón, she met him, she worked with him a little bit, and to me she's one of the best interpreters I've ever seen. When I first saw her dance, I didn't know her name, nothing. I first saw her dance, I was blown away. I went back to France and said, you have to see this woman dance. Whatever she's thinking, whatever she's feeling, it just pours out of her skin. You can see everything coming out through her body. I was blown away by that. And then a year later I met her with the Limón company when I finally joined Limón West and all that. And we became very close, and she shared so much with me. Like, we grew together a lot. You know, we were very close in many ways. You see, when I was at the conservatory in Lyon, in France, for the diploma, one of the things we had to do is we had to do many solos, many duets, and some all the same, and some you had to choose. I had to choose a solo from any repertory that I wanted, that I loved, and then I had to put it together how I could through video or going somewhere and working with the master that knew the work. So the people before me had to do it. I was in the first year, I was young, and the people in the year that were older were preparing. And there was a young man, and one day he tells me, come and see my work. Come and see my work. I'm going to rehearse in the studio. And I go, and this man is doing a solo in silence, completely in silence. Just to think about it, I get emotional. And I was sitting and seeing this man doing this amazing work. I was blown away. I thought it was his work, this young man's work. And so I said, I was like, next year I'm not going to be able to make a choreography that good. It's so good. I want to be in his company. If one day he has a company, he's a genius. He's the choreographer of the future. And then he finishes and he asked me, did you like it? I loved it. So this is a solo from Limón. This solo was made in the 70s, yeah, and it was in the 90s then. I was okay. It's an old solo, but it's going to be my future. And since then, after that, every time I would see something of Limón, I didn't know. I had that experience many times. I would see a video and all my friends were like, wow, we have to find out what it is because it's so much like you. And it was every time it was Rosé Limón, like the trailer of Rosé Limón, dances for men that were made for so masculine. Not masculine in a cliche, but masculine in the movement. And it was very strong for me. So then, slowly, somehow I found my way to the company, to this work. It was like meant to be. Plus, I was born the same day as Doris Humphrey, who was the mentor of Rosé Limón. So, and the same day as Gary Masters, who invited me. So, I don't know. It seemed like there were signs all along the way that it felt like destiny. I don't know if it exists, but it felt like it. I think it's what I was speaking about earlier, to become an artist, is to demonstrate and to show that actually to become artists, okay, we're working on the function of the body and how we can do things, but really we have to develop a point of view, and the point of view is the biggest part of technique. Yeah, just like a painter, like we can take Picasso or Monet, they all know how to make a circle, they all know how to make lines, they all know how to mix colors, they know about the same thing that they have to know how to draw. Yeah, it's basic. Like a dancer, the same thing. We have to work on our flexibility, we have to work on standing on one leg, jumping high, or these things. But this is basic. And really what makes the difference between Picasso and Monet is their point of view. So how do we look at the world and how do we express it? One look at the world through form and express it through form. The other one through light and express it through light. So why dance would be different than other arts? It has to be at the same level. As to show people that, we haven't thought sometime about these things. We have to start speaking at the same level as the other arts. Like Doris Humphrey was really strong about it, and she wanted to bring dance at the same level as other arts. Thinkers, thinking. And so for Limón, it's very clear, Humphrey Limón. The point of view is gravity. So we express, we do movement with or in opposition to gravity. We fall and we recover, which is a metaphor for the human condition. But if we want to speak of other things, we have to find other point of views. So is the point of view the form? It could be the form, lines, and more like ballet. It could be many things, but we have to find a point of view as artists and delve into it. And then we have a tool, a technique. There's no art without technique. There's no art without point of view. Yeah. So to be able to speak of the world and speak of what we see or what we experience, we have to relate as artists, as choreographers, dancers, to the world. And sometimes there are some times where we need to develop the art form to change how we look at the classical work. We have to change it to look at, now I don't have to depict everything. We realize that the mind makes up a lot, of the viewer makes up a lot. So in dance it could be the same. We have to develop other ways of looking at movement, which was postmodern. But I think we're beyond that now. We're beyond that, and we need to. The dance has to reconnect to the world again. So it's not snob anymore. It's not isolated, and other people can relate to it. That's my point of view. And so when I teach, I really try to demonstrate that point of view is a big part of the technique. So if they learn it with Humphrey Limón, which is very strong, they can eventually find it with other people or develop it themselves, whatever, or choose to use gravity as well, a little bit in their own ways, why not? There are spiritual levels, and this is becoming conscious. once more, it's the whole circle from the beginning, yes? Becoming conscious, unveiling. Oh, we can choose to do this or that. So all of a sudden there's no right and wrong. You see, in dance there's a lot of right and wrong. It's the only art form where the interprets every day go and takes a class. A musician doesn't go every day after a while taking class, but the dancers goes. It's very social too. And sometimes it tends to be when you have a teacher all the time throughout your life, we can start thinking of right and wrong. But no, it's all choices and becoming aware of those choices. We have to remember where we come from, because we are not really creators. We all coming from somewhere. So Doris Humphrey, José Limón, Gary Masters, Nina Watt, Betty Jones too, that I forgot to mention, big influence. And then me, and then other people. We all in a line, we add to each other. Hopefully some people add more, because they're geniuses. Yeah, like Einstein and Picasso and all others, Bach, and they add more, they give more, but we all are in that lineage.
Thank you. It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.